it is my immense pleasure today to introduce the Certificate in Diabetes Care program. In this program, we will be clarifying certain things about the program, what is the program, how it is being implemented, how to evaluate the program, what is the role of the regional centers, and how you can implement best this program so that this program is being popularized and the students are being enrolled in this area, because diabetes is a disease which is increasing in our country, in every state, in every region. If they are the workers who are being trained for this program, it will be a great benefit to the society and the health sector. Today, myself, Nirja Sood from School of Health Sciences, and Dr. Vardhani, she is in research unit at present. Both of us are the program coordinator for this program, and we will try to clarify even the doubts of the program in charges and the academic counselors in case you have any doubt regarding the program. First, I would like to just tell in brief about the university, that is Indira Gandhi National Open University was established by the Act of Parliament in 1985. Over a time, it has grown very largely, covering nearly 3 million students under 21 schools in various countries, also 35 countries, and had 62 regional centers, with the objective democratize higher education by taking it to the doorstep of the learners, provide access to high quality education, offering need-based programs, and diabetes program is also one of the need-based program, promoting and developing distance education in India, and setting and maintaining standards in distance education in the country. It's an apex body. The organization structure of the university, you can see there are 21 schools, various divisions, and one of the school is School of Health Sciences. Then we have a unique instructional package. It's a multimedia package we provide to the students, in which the print material is provided when the student get admission. Then audio and video are being prepared for specific programs, and they are being given to the regional centers so that students can view them whenever there is a need, or they can relate to the programs. And we will also in future try to give audio and video for this diabetes program also. Then we have teleconferencing for the students. We have interactive radio session for the students. Along with the theory, we have practical skills, hands-on skill training for the students, because for all of our School of Health Sciences program, the practical skill component is very, very important aspect, because we want that our students should be competent enough to help the patients in the field whenever they go out in the community. That's why we have kept certain fixed hours for them for as a supervised activities. In this way, we have student support services which are being provided by the Program Study Center. We have implementation plan. Just in brief, I can tell you, the IGNOU is a headquarter where we have a School of Health Sciences and regional service division. Then in every region we have a regional centers. Every regional center, they established a Program Study Center for the specific program, like we have for the diabetes program 9 Program Study Centers at present. The program in charge is in the host institution, looks after this program, and academic counselors are there who help the students in the theory counseling and for the practical sessions. And the students go for the skill training to the attached hospital, whichever hospital they are being attached. Some of the common terminology I would like to tell you about. What is a program? Program means the curriculum or combination of courses. For example, Certificate in Diabetes Care for Community Worker is a program. Then what is a course? Like this program has one course which is being CNS DC 001, that is Concepts and Interventions of Diabetes Mellitus. That is one theory course. Then we have a one practical course in this CDCW program. We have two courses, one practical and one theory. Then what is a block? The block appears in the form of booklet which has around 60 to 80 printed pages, and point to remember is that each course consists of few blocks. It can be 4 blocks, 6 blocks, 8 blocks depending on the credit. which are in the form of booklet. Like in this program, diabetes program, we have 4 blocks for the theory and 1 block for the practical. Then what is a unit? Unit, in every block we have 4 to 6 unit. Unit is like a lesson plan we have in a regular system, in which student will get whole material, how to go through, what is the basics. I would like to show you one. This is a diagrammatic representation. You can see the program has various courses. Each course has blocks. Each block has units. Each block, then unit has section and subsection. If we come back, you can see you have received the material. This is one of the block 1 of certificate in diabetes care for community worker. This is basics of diabetes mellitus. So you can see here, these are the various units. We have 3 units in block 1, and each unit is divided into, we have a access for the student. The student can see what all our components are there in this unit, and suppose student wants to read first about what is diabetes or types of diabetes, they can go directly to that section and read about that. And in between there is a check your progress, and student can read a particular section, then they can check their progress. Even the model answers are been given at the back. This is the concept of having a block, and this in the certificate in diabetes care program we will tell you how we have defined worked out the syllabus. I will now request Dr. Vardhini to tell us about the program study center. What is a program study center and what is the function of a program study center?
You have just started hearing about the certificate in diabetes care for community workers program. And we know that all the programs of IGNOU are implemented through a network of regional centers, and each regional center has got a network of learner support centers under the regional center. These learner support centers are the main contact points for the students who are enrolled in IGNOU. They come to the learner support centers and then get all the support services that they need for undergoing the program. The program study center is a special kind of a learner support center. It's also a learner support center, but then a program study center concentrates or focuses on a single point, on a single program which is being implemented. For example, for the B.Ed program of Indira Gandhi National Open University, we have program study centers which are completely involved in implementing the B.Ed program. In the same way, for the diabetes in care for community workers, the CDCW program, we have identified a number of program study centers. So they are concentrating totally on implementing the CDCW program. For the CDCW program, the program study center should be a hospital or a nursing college or a nursing school which has got a diabetes clinic attached to it, and at least there should be 50 OPD, 50 outpatients attending the OPD department of the hospital or the nursing school. So if there is any such kind of institution which is willing to implement the CDCW program, then these institutions can approach the regional director in his or her office and make a request for activating a program study center for the CDCW program. And the process is very, very simple. You fill up the prescribed proforma. This prescribed proforma seeks to get all the information about the basic amenities that are available in that institution. What are the facilities that are available? What we call as the basic information about the institution. So this prescribed proforma can be filled up and then submitted to the regional director, and then the regional director will inform the program coordinator at the School of Health Sciences at the IGNOU headquarters, get acquainted with the idea of opening this institution over there, and then make a visit to the particular institution which has applied. After making a visit over there, he would interact with all the head of the institution, the other persons who are present in the institution. He would like to survey all the infrastructural facilities that are available in the institution. He would like to interact with the academic faculty to know their expertise. And on the basis of all these preliminary studies, the regional director will prepare a visit report and keep the visit report ready for submission to the IGNOU headquarters. At the same time, a memorandum of understanding will be signed between the host institution as well as IGNOU through the regional director. This will be informed to the School of Health Sciences at the IGNOU headquarters. Along with the filling of the visit report and the MOU, the host institution will be requested to identify certain faculty members, preferably the head of the the nursing department or the head of the medicine department of the institution, who will be identified as the program in charge.
I think Dr. Vadni, we have already the set norms are there. So whenever they ask, we always send the norms to them. So as per the
Yes.
norms, they can
Yes.
identify.
I think the norms are already available
Yeah.
at the regional center.
Centers.
So depending on the norms, you can get the biodata the proformas filled up and submit to the office of the regional director along with the biodata of the academic counselors. So the whole document,
Yes,
that
the
is
whole
the
file will
visit
come.
report,
Yeah.
the MOU as well as the
Biodatas.
biodata of the program in charge as well as the academic counselors. The entire documents will be sent to the Regional Services Division by the regional director. The Regional Services Division will again pass on these documents to the School of Health Sciences for their scrutiny. And once the school feels or they are satisfied that the program study center can be activated, then they would inform the RSD, that is the Regional Services Division, and the RSD will in turn issue a notification, which is a very, very important document because the notification contains a code number for the program study center. It contains the name of the program in charge, the address of the program study center, and information that the CTCW program is activated in that center. So this completes the establishment of a program study center.
Dr. Vadni, can you tell in brief what are the functions of program study center?
I would briefly say that the program study center is a nerve center of the IGNOU at the regional level, because that is the main contact point for the students to get to study or get the program through. So the program study center performs a number of functions. First of all, it maintains all the records related to the admission of the students right from the time of the admission, and it also conducts the first meeting, which it's the interface between the students and the academic counselors, that is the induction meeting. So the program study center conducts the induction meeting. It also provides all the student support services like the academic counseling, the teleconferencing,
information regarding teleconferencing,
and any of
IRC,
the-
whatever information is they receive
Required,
from the regional center or the student requires.
Yes, is given at the program study
Yeah.
center, and all the assignments which the students are supposed to prepare.
Yeah.
These are received at the program study center, and they get evaluated over there, and then even the information regarding the examinations, the conduct of the practical examinations, all these are available at the program study center. This is all the academic aspects, and the administrative aspects, the finances, conducting the program.
So I think in nutshell we have just explained you what is the program study center, how we can establish a program study center, and what are the functions of study center. Now let us come to the program. Certificate in Diabetes program was developed. Actually, it was a brainchild of Dr. Vardhani only. I would appreciate she is there with me today. She has, when she was the regional director of the Guwahati, she found that there is no one to help the people in the community, and there is a need for a community level worker. Doctors are available in big hospitals, in the district hospitals, but again the problem was many patients were having problems. They do not continue the treatment. They have various queries: where to go, whom to meet, even for the treatment, where to go, what to do. There were very questions, and she herself had problem because her husband was a diabetic and has seen that what are the problems of a diabetic patient can be, and how family feels, and why family also needs the support. So she has proposed this program, and with the help of School of Health Sciences we have developed this program so that at the community level we have workers who help the patients. We know India is going to become a hub of diabetes. Every 6th person is a diabetic in India, have a history of diabetes in family, and due to lifestyle changes, diabetes incidence is increasing. And as we go down to our community level, rural areas, tribal areas, people do not have any support system at that center. Even the government of India is developing a national program of diabetes and cardiovascular and the cancer diseases, where the concept of community health worker is very much of importance. Involvement of NGO is there, because even studies have shown that if people are given in time the information, if they are being taught how to prevent, how to promote health, how they can prevent the complications, why the importance of follow up and the medication is given to them in time, the complications of diabetes can be reduced. Because we know that diabetes has various complications which affect all the systems of the body. That's why the community health worker can help the people in the community level to prevent the diseases, to help them to go for follow up, because many a times people are so busy they neglect themselves, they do not go for regular follow up. Again, the diet modification, the lifestyle modification. Many a times family members are not able to understand why there is a need for diet modification, why a patient needs different diet if he is a diabetic, why they should go for regular exercise. A person who is going early morning for the job has no time for exercise. How teach them what type of exercise they can do even indoor, because these things are very, very important for a diabetic patient. Why to carry a identification card, why to carry a insulin injection and the food with him or her in the old age, during pregnancy, while traveling, while driving, what precautions to be taken. These concepts can be clarified by the community health worker. I think that was the concept behind which this program was developed. I will like Dr. Vardhani to add a few points.
Well, I think Neerja, you have very clearly explained the background of developing this program. I personally felt, in the remote areas of the Northeast, there are a large number of persons who are affected by diabetes, but, they never come to know that they are suffering from the disease. And there are, it's few and far between, I would say, because the number of clinics there or the hospitals are remote, and people hardly have access. And this disease is also such that a person really doesn't come to know that he's been affected by the disease. And by the time the persons, realize that there may be some, critical incident, and as a result of which they come to know that they have got, they get diagnosed with diabetes. By that time, it's too late. They are rushing all the way, taking flights, trying to, collect money, and then rush to Chennai or, Mumbai or some places like that for treatment. And these are very expensive, and at the same time, dislocating the patient and the family members. I found that the people were facing a large, severe problems due to the lack of identification of the disease on time, and immediate, attention to the patient. And that is what prompted me to think that if we can have a cadre of community workers prepared to implement this, to be at the field level, and then to help the people at least in diagnosis and trying to control the onset of diabetes. Maybe this cadre of persons can be very, very useful, and they would get attached to nursing homes and hospitals and other clinics and get hands-on training and be available to the members of the community. So that is why the title of the program is also community workers. So we've often asked the question at the at the regional center where I was implementing this program. There were queries like, will we get a job immediately? Like, I think it's quite irrelevant to think whether you are going to get a job immediately, and that a government job or things like that, because I feel many of the activities that we do in life are not paid in terms of
but Dr.
job.
Vardhani,
And
nowadays
like
what is happening is, like, we have a national rural health mission under which all the national programs are being implemented by Government of India. They involve community at the panchayat level also, and some of the community workers can volunteer and they can become a member of that program committees, and they actually patient basis, sometimes government pay them money. Like, we have a ASHA scheme. If they take patients to hospitals or give treatment, according to the activity they are being paid. Same way they can find out at their own state level, district level, block level, what are the activities going on, and they can involve themselves. Like, just recently one of our PIC came from Bhopal. He told, our retired postmasters, teachers want to do this course because then they will help people. They will see that they go to the doctor, take treatment, if they can even do follow up regularly, and they can help these patients. So scenarios are many. Even many a times we get a phone call that patient relatives wants to do this program to help the patient at home, because they do not know the concepts behind the diabetes, what are the complications, how to manage, where to go, and how to even prevent, how to change the lifestyle, what all things they can do. So avenues are large, as Dr. Vardhani has told. It is depends in our own situation how we can use this knowledge. I think that is the basic of that. Now we can tell them, I think, about eligibility and the duration of the course. The eligibility is 10 plus 2. We have kept so that anyone who is 10 plus 2 can do this course. It does not mean only students, anyone. It's a family member, patient, any NGO, anyone can do here. It's a health worker. This program is open for all. The duration is minimum 6 months and maximum is 2 years. Means if one person is taking admission in January 2012, they can complete this program and sit for the exam in June 2012 with the condition they have completed all the requirements of the program. In case you are not able to complete the requirements of the program, assignments, practicals, theory classes, attendance, then they can appear for the exam in December 2012 or again in June 13 or December 13. After 2 years, that is paying fee only once, that is rupees 2000, maximum duration is 2 years. So that is the concept of the IGNOU. It's a flexibility is there, that it's not that you have to complete this course in 6 months. That is a concept. If you say medium, at present it is in English, but later if we have more enrollment, demand is there, we are going to translate into Hindi and the regional languages. Program fee, already I have told you, it is rupees 2000 only, and the students will get material along with this. They don't have to pay anything for the material, only the examination fee for the theory paper before exam they have to pay. If we see the program syllabus, we had a credit system. Credit means 30 student hours is equal to 1 credit. That means student will be able to read one block, which I have already shown you, in 30 hours, including doing the assignment, viewing the audio and visuals, viewing the teleconferencing, and doing other activities. So that student, in this program we have 14 credit program, out of which it involves 420 student study hours. It has one theory course of 4 credit and one practical of 10 credit. Here you can see we have given more emphasis on the practical because we want that community workers should have skill of doing certain activities. You can see here 4 credit means 120 hours. Here 100% face to face counseling is there. Why we have, you will be wondering why we have kept 100%. Because we felt when the people who are coming outside the health sector, they may not have the basics. What is diabetes? They may have little maybe hindrance can be there in understanding the basic concepts. That's why we have kept 120 hours, that is 15 days theory classes within this 6 months, and practical is 300 hours, that is again divided into 150 hours into self activities, 150 hours into supervised activities. Self activity means the student will be doing these activities at their workplace if they are working. If they are not working, when they will come for supervised activities for 150 hours, they will do in that hospital these activities also. You can see the syllabus will only tell us the basics of diabetes. What we have done here is introduction to diabetes mellitus, introduction to systems of body. Why systems of body? Because in diabetes all the systems of the body are being affected when there are complications. That's why it's very important for a health worker or a student to understand why there is a need to prevent complications. Then pancreas and its function and metabolism, because pancreas are being mainly involved in the formation of insulin. That's why we had kept a separate unit on pancreas. The second block you will see is on diagnosis and monitoring of diabetes mellitus. It's very important for a community worker to know what are the diagnostic procedures, investigations are being done to diagnose a patient, because patient may have queries. So that you have a basic idea about the basic test, what are the normal limits, then only you will be able to help the patients. Then monitoring of diabetic patient, how you will monitor, how a patient will monitor himself or herself. That's why the basic concepts of monitoring is being given. And the third block is on management of diabetic mellitus. If you go to the types of diabetes, you will see management is also divided according to the types. That is type 1, type 2 and the just diabetes in pregnancy. Because every type of diabetes have different care. The concepts remain the same, but the medication, type of diet, type of activities you will tell to the patient to change the lifestyle will differ. If you see the fourth block, the complications of diabetes mellitus. Acute complications, chronic complications. It's very important to understand type of complications, because like hypoglycemia, the glucose level goes low. It's acute complication. You have to immediately help the patient. The patient should know how patient can help himself or herself. Now, what all things patient should carry with him or her when they are outside the home, if they have hypoglycemic attack, if they have other complications, when to go to a doctor, or the referral of a patient, when you will refer a patient, where you will refer a patient, and what all things you will do before referring a patient. Then coping strategies. Why coping strategies we have kept? Here you will find the patient is under stress, the family is under stress, the lifestyle of the patient is being changed, the patient has to change altogether. Patient always feel I am sick. I have to now change my diet, I have to change my lifestyle pattern, I have to go for exercise, I have to go to doctor, I have to spend money. Economics, the finance is also involved. So how the patient will cope, how the family will cope, and how you will help the patient to cope up these. Because many a times when patient is under stress, they forget about the disease. They are more worried about their family, more worried about the change what they have to bring in their life, worried about how they will cope up with the extra financial cost of the medicines or the treatment. So you have to tell them the facilities available by the government, facilities which are available near their house rather than going very far. Then how to prevent the disease, counseling of a patient, educating a patient, educating the community, educating the family. So these are the basic concepts if you see the syllabus we have kept, because these components are very, very important. If you go to the practical component, you will see here the basic practical components is very important for the community worker or any learner to know how to take a history, because unless you take a detailed history, you won't be able to know why this person is having, from how long this patient is having, is there any family history, have this person already taking a treatment, has he left the treatment in between. That's why history taking in detail is a very important. Anthropometric measures means taking height, weight, chest measurement, waist measurement, and then calculating what is the, because their obesity is one of the cause, so you should know why is patient is gaining weight, you have to reduce the weight by certain activities. Then checking the vital signs, temperature, pulse, respiration, especially the blood pressure is very important. Then blood checking, blood and the urine testing, blood glucose level and the urine glucose level is very important. Then assessment to detect early complications. It's better to detect complication early rather than patient have complication then they go for treatment. It is very, very important to teach even the patient how even they can detect the complications. Then foot examination and identifying foot at risk. Most of the diabetic patient has problem in the foot. There is no sensation is there in the foot and they neglect it. Many a times they do not know even they are having a foot problem. That's why you have to teach to the patient what are the problems in the feet, how they can identify the foot at risk. That's why a community health worker should be trained in teaching the foot at risk. The other activities, as you will see here, there are certain other practicals regarding the dietary counseling. We have already told you the patient has to change the diet. So that's why what type of diet the patient has to take, why they have to change, how they can modify their diet within the family kitchen, because many a times it's not possible to make a separate food for the patient. So you have to teach a family how within their normal routines they can help the patient to have a diabetic diet. Active and passive exercises. A patient is indoor or outdoor exercises, type of exercises patient can do. Then technique of insulin injection. As we know, most of the patients are given with the oral medication, the insulin injection also. It's very important to teach, patient should learn the insulin injection, and even the family members should learn how to give an insulin injection. Then dressing of diabetic wound. Again, wound is a very common if there is any complication. How to do a simple dressing with a normal saline solution. Then behavioral change communication means how to give a health education, how to inform the patient about the precautions they have to take, or when they have to do the follow-up, why it is important for them to keep an identity card. These are aspects of the behavioral change communication. A health worker can organize an individual based health education program, or they can go to various institutions in the schools, in the offices and organize. They can go in the community with the help of the community participation. They can involve people and spread the message. Then counseling techniques. It's very important. We don't want the health worker to become a counselors, but the basic counseling when they come to them under stress or to inquire about anything, the health worker should have these basic concepts of counseling. It's very, very important for them to understand the concept of giving a counseling to the patient and the family. I think in brief I have told you about what is the syllabus, what are the components we have included in the theory and the practical component of this program, which are very, very essential for the health worker to learn. I will request Dr. Vardhini to tell in brief about who is the academic counselor and what is academic counseling.
Well, you have just listened to the syllabi of the course, which has a very balanced inputs of both theory as well as the practicals. So there is if you look into the contents of this program, I think from all points of view, it's a very complete and a compact module which will prepare a community worker to be the first person to interact with a diabetic patient and help him to adjust and cope with the disease. When you study for this program and you are enrolled at the Program Study Center, to help you to get through the program, you will get a continuous support from the faculty at the Program Study Center. At the Program Study Center is the program in charge, who is overall in charge of the running the Program Study Center and seeing that the program is implemented effectively. The program in charge, in fact, will get oriented. Like today we are having this teleconference, and this is one of the methods by which we are trying to orient the program in charge about taking responsibility for delivery of the program. As soon as he or she is completely oriented to take up this responsibility, the first thing that he has to do is to ensure that in the institution where that is the Program Study Center, he has to ensure that all the infrastructural facilities are available. Now, by infrastructure facilities, I don't mean something which is very hi-fi. It just needs to be ensured that we have a classroom where the regular academic counseling, as you said, there was a contact program.
Yeah.
So for the 15 days contact program, there should be a room available where the classes can be conducted, chairs and tables and things like that. And you need to also ensure that for all the supervised activities, there is a small laboratory kind of
lab in the hospital which is being attached
in the hospital, where the facilities are available for the students to undergo all these supervised activities. And I would insist that the program in charge has a notice board dedicated for the CDCW, IGNOU students, so that like the Program Study Center, as you know, it's a part-time kind of a thing. Even the program in charge is available only for limited hours. So if you have a notice board available, then all kinds of information related to the program can be displayed, and the students who are also working outside or preoccupied with other jobs, whenever they are free, they visit the Program Study Center and get the updates on the on the notice board. So these are the preliminary things that the PIC has to.
I think even PIC has to ensure that students get the material and they come, and before they come to the academic counseling, they should read the material. Of the instruction, the basic instruction should be given by the program in charge. The PIC has to ensure the information reaches the student in time. They are being given the material and they are being informed. That is, information is very, very communication between the student and the Program Study Center. That is very essential. It depends what mechanism you want to adopt. It can be through your mobiles or email or from student to student. And I think in brief, in this session, we have told you about the IGNOU, what is the structure, what is the programs through which School of Health Sciences is implementing, how this program was developed, what was the rationale behind this, what is the credit load of this program, what is the syllabi, what is Program Study Center, role of Program Study Center and role of PIC.